the Japanese Grand Prix is rapidly approaching, and all signs point to a weekend packed with unexpected twists, dramatic shifts, and monumental shakeups across the board. As engines gear up and teams prepare for battle, one unpredictable force may yet throw everything into chaos: Mother Nature herself. Current weather forecasts are painting a rather ominous picture for Sunday, hinting at conditions that could completely upend car setups and force teams to abandon their pre-planned strategies. But let's be clear, that's only scratching the surface of what Suzuka is about to deliver. This historic track isn't just serving up meteorological mischief, it's also ushering in fresh storylines that could redefine the season. For starters, two driver lineups are getting a facelift. One brings back a familiar face to a former home, a nostalgic return that adds emotional weight to the race. But the real spotlight is shining on Yuki Tsunoda, the local icon who's finally getting his shot on the main stage. After years of build-up, setbacks, and waiting in the wings, he's stepping into a full-time Red Bull seat, and not just anywhere, but right here, on his home turf in Japan. It's a narrative twist so charged with emotion and national pride that you couldn't script it better if you tried. Meanwhile, lurking quietly in the paddock, Ferrari might just be plotting a storm of their own. Suzuka's demanding technical characteristics, a mix of high-speed corners and unforgiving rhythm, seem tailor-made for the prancing horse to charge ahead. After suffering a humiliating double disqualification in China, the Italian team is hungry for redemption. And with McLaren's recent dominance being questioned under these track conditions, this could be Ferrari's chance to claw their way back into contention. But let's circle back to the wild card, the weather. While forecasts suggest relatively calm skies for Friday practice and Saturday qualifying, Sunday is shaping up to be a completely different beast. Reports are now placing the chance of rain at 50% right at the race start, skyrocketing to a staggering 70% throughout the afternoon. That level of uncertainty transforms everything. A wet race isn't just about managing traction. It's a battlefield where reflexes, instincts, and nerves of steel are tested to their absolute limit. More importantly, it throws a wrench into the entire technical preparation. Rain doesn't just affect grip levels. It forces teams to completely reconsider downforce settings, tire choices, and even power unit cooling. Just look at what happened in Melbourne. Several teams gambled on wet setups during qualifying, hedging their bets that rain would deliver them an advantage once Sunday rolled around. It didn't pay off for Ferrari back then. But given the pressure they're under now, don't be surprised if they roll the dice once again. This isn't just a race. It's a psychological chess match between the brains on the pit wall, where every decision has the potential to make or break a weekend, and only one team will get it right. Yet amid all the strategic speculation and storm warnings, there's one name reverberating through the Suzuka paddock louder than the roar of any engine: Yuki Tsunoda. No longer the scrappy underdog or just a local fan favorite, Yuki is now the face of a seismic shift. His promotion, while sudden, has been simmering under the surface for months. Red Bull's decision to pull the trigger now might have been catalyzed by Liam Lawson's recent drop in performance, or perhaps by Yuki's outstanding simulator feedback that's had the team quietly buzzing behind closed doors. What's certain is this: Yuki isn't hiding from the spotlight. He's stepping into it with conviction. Asked about his goals for the weekend, he didn't shy away from ambition. "I don't want to raise expectations too much," he said with a humble grin, "but my dream is to finish on the podium, right here at home." And just like that, the stakes went from high to sky high. The drama couldn't be more intense. A returning veteran. A rising hometown hero under immense pressure. An unpredictable sky overhead. A Ferrari team with something to prove. And a Red Bull seat that could ignite a new era in Formula One, or fall spectacularly flat under the weight of expectations. Suzuka isn't just hosting another Grand Prix, it's the epicenter of a perfect storm. Everything is converging at once: emotion, ambition, risk, and the sheer unpredictability that makes Formula One so damn captivating. For Yuki Tsunoda, this isn't just a race, it's the moment that could define his career. For Ferrari, it's a test of resilience. And for every fan watching, it's the kind of weekend where anything, and I mean anything, could happen. Buckle up. Japan is about to explode. Praise has been pouring in from all corners of the paddock about the RB21's behavior on track, and Yuki Tsunoda has now joined that chorus with glowing early feedback. According to the Japanese driver, the car feels remarkably obedient and composed, offering a clean, precise response with no signs of erratic behavior or deceptive quirks. For a team like Red Bull, who rely heavily on driver feedback to refine their weapon of choice, hearing such a confident, unambiguous endorsement from Yuki is like music to their ears, especially so early in the process. But despite the promising signs, Red Bull is treading cautiously. They're not letting the hype train leave the station just yet. After all, this sport has a cruel way of humbling even the most confident engineers and drivers. And if there's anyone who knows this, it's Liam Lawson. Not long ago, Lawson was the name on everyone's lips, hailed as the next in line, praised for his maturity, and heavily favored internally by many within the Red Bull camp. His confidence behind the virtual wheel during simulator sessions was sky-high in the weeks leading up to Suzuka, to the point where some insiders believed he had locked in his future. But in Formula One, fate turns on a dime. Before he even got a chance to unleash that potential on track, the script flipped. Yuki was in. Liam was out. And just like that, the New Zealander was benched, right before the race he arguably knows better than anyone else. Suzuka isn't just another circuit for Lawson, it's practically his backyard, a track he mastered during his stint in Super Formula. Being sidelined here? It cuts deep. Many fans and pundits believe it was a harsh blow, perhaps even unjust. But setbacks like this can often ignite something fierce. Sometimes, being denied what you love most awakens a level of hunger that nothing else can. Tony Quinn, one of Lawson's closest mentors, broke his silence ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix with a statement that turned heads. His words were both sobering and inspiring. This might be a blessing in disguise. If Liam had struggled elsewhere, the damage to his stock could have been worse. Don't count him out. The talent is still very much alive. All he needs is a clean shot. When the time comes, he'll bounce back. And that's the undercurrent running beneath Suzuka this weekend. It's not just about lap times or weather forecasts. It's about pressure, redemption, proof, careers being reshaped before our eyes. The ripples of this weekend won't stop when the checkered flag waves. They could echo into the driver market and reshape team dynamics well into 2025. But while all eyes are on Tsunoda's debut and Lawson's sidelining, there's another storm brewing, and it's coming straight out of Maranello. Ferrari, who've had a turbulent start to the season, now appear poised to throw a wrench into the current power structure. Suzuka's sinuous, high-speed layout might just be the lifeline they need. Unlike some of the tighter stop-start circuits that previously exposed the SF25's weaknesses, this track, with its sweeping turns and fast-flowing rhythm, plays to Ferrari's recent aerodynamic upgrades. Behind closed doors, the Scuderia has been crunching numbers from Shanghai, using the data to refine a new simulation model tailored specifically for Suzuka's unique profile. With only 2 genuinely slow corners, the traditional traction edge that's often favored McLaren could be muted. If Ferrari nails their setup and avoids missteps on race day, a double podium isn't just a fantasy, it's firmly on the table. When asked about Ferrari's performance trajectory, Charles Leclerc struck a balance between realism and optimism. It's never just one factor, he explained. In Melbourne, McLaren looked incredibly sharp, especially in the final sector. But that might have had more to do with tire behavior than raw pace. Come race day, the broader picture shifts. That's where we fell short. Whether it was tire degradation or high-speed grip, we've made strides. We still have work to do in medium and low-speed corners, but the gains are real. And the numbers back that up. Internal data from Ferrari's recent analysis suggests that the SF25 performs significantly better with a lighter fuel load and a lower ride height. However, thanks to the limited dry running caused by recent wet sessions, the team hasn't been able to extract the full extent of their package, meaning there's untapped performance still locked inside the machine. That's both frustrating and exciting. It means Suzuka could be the first track where the world gets to see what this car is truly capable of. Meanwhile, Red Bull is reportedly easing Yuki into the RB21 by slightly softening the car's baseline setup, reducing aggressiveness in favor of a smoother entry point. The goal is to give Tsunoda a more predictable and manageable platform as he makes his transition into one of the most high-pressure seats in motorsport. Whether that's enough for him to bag points and make a case for keeping that second seat in 2025 remains to be seen. But beyond the car behavior and technical wizardry, the emotional stakes this weekend are off the charts. For Yuki, this is the culmination of years of grinding, doubting, and dreaming. For Liam, it's a harsh reminder of how brutal the sport can be. For Ferrari, it's a chance to rise from the ashes and challenge the established order. And for the fans? It's an edge-of-your-seat drama where every sector split and every cloud in the sky feels like it could change everything. Suzuka isn't just another on the calendar. It's a crucible, a battleground. And this weekend, it might very well set the tone for the rest of the season, and beyond. One thing, however, has become crystal clear in the ever-evolving landscape of Formula One. McLaren has absolutely no intention of sitting idle while their rivals scramble to catch up. The Woking-based team is no longer chasing the front. They've become the benchmark, the measuring stick by which others now define competitiveness. Their latest creation, the MCL39, has pushed performance boundaries in every conceivable direction, establishing itself as a juggernaut with an unusually broad operational window that allows it to shine on virtually any track layout, under virtually any conditions. Right now, it's hard to argue against the fact that McLaren looks like the squad to beat. Whether it's high-speed flow circuits or stop-start technical layouts, the Orange Machine has proven to be a formidable all-rounder, adapting to challenges with the sort of ease that makes rival engineers lose sleep. However, and this is crucial, raw potential means nothing if it's not fully exploited. And that's precisely where McLaren has hit a few stumbling blocks. Despite bagging 2 early victories and looking like the class of the field in the opening rounds of the season, there have been moments when Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri weren't quite able to extract every ounce of performance from the car. Whether due to strategic misfires, fluctuating tire windows, or moments of driver inconsistency, the team hasn't always converted dominance into domination. And now, with Ferrari closing the performance gap and threatening to steal the spotlight, McLaren's margin for error is shrinking rapidly. This raises a fascinating strategic dilemma heading into Suzuka, one of the most technically challenging and emotionally charged tracks on the calendar. If McLaren truly intends to hold on to its advantage, it may be wise to split tactical approaches between their 2 rising stars. A divided strategy could allow them to cover more scenarios and ensure that at least one car remains in contention, especially given Suzuka's high potential for chaos, a trait amplified tenfold by the looming specter of rain. And make no mistake, that battle within the team is quietly becoming one of the most thrilling storylines of the season. Lando Norris, no longer the young hopeful but now a seasoned contender, has shown flashes of brilliance, but he's now matched up against a quietly intense Oscar Piastri, who continues to sharpen his racecraft with each passing Grand Prix. The two are beginning to define the new intra-team rivalry at McLaren, a head-to-head clash between 2 intelligent, ruthlessly fast drivers in machinery capable of fighting for wins. In Suzuka, the question is no longer simply whether McLaren will be competitive. The question is, which one of their drivers will lead the charge? Who will be the predator, and who will end up being the prey? And more importantly, how will they manage this dynamic while navigating the treacherous possibility of rain, which could render the most meticulous pre-race strategies obsolete in a matter of seconds? The good news for McLaren is that wet conditions haven't fazed them much this season. In fact, they've managed to look downright impressive in slippery scenarios, a testament to both their chassis balance and the growing maturity of their driver duo. Still, Suzuka in the wet is a different beast altogether, one that can punish the slightest misstep and reward those with nerves of steel and a sensitive right foot. But let's not make the mistake of focusing exclusively on McLaren. The 2025 campaign is rapidly morphing into a proper multi-team brawl, and that means the Silver Arrows, Mercedes, are very much back in the frame. After a quiet rebuilding phase, Mercedes has made it abundantly clear they're no longer content with playing catch-up. With George Russell stepping into a leadership role and the arrival of the young prodigy Andrea Kimi Antonelli generating headlines across the motorsport world, Mercedes is betting big on a renaissance, and they intend to prove it at Suzuka. There's a noticeable buzz in the air surrounding the latest update package for the W16. Rumors suggest that Mercedes is preparing a bold aerodynamic overhaul, and if it pays off, it could place them back into the podium conversation. George Russell, in particular, has emerged as one of the most consistent threats just behind McLaren. Always lurking, always delivering. The only question is whether this version of Mercedes has enough firepower to throw punches with the very best. Suzuka could be the proving ground. As the top teams converge on Japan, the front of the grid is no longer a two-horse race. It's a battlefield filled with intricate alliances, internal rivalries, and drivers all vying to plant their flag at the top. Ferrari has two competitive lions ready to pounce. McLaren boasts perhaps the most complete car and a driver pairing filled with hunger. Mercedes is gambling on youth and precision. Red Bull. They're now walking a tightrope, heavily dependent on the singular brilliance of Max Verstappen while navigating the political minefield surrounding their second seat. And that brings us to one of the juiciest subplots of all, the Lawson situation. With Liam Lawson set to debut under highly unusual circumstances, the paddock is abuzz. His sudden promotion, driven more by internal team decisions than long-term planning, has ignited a flurry of speculation. Was he ready? Was it fair to throw him into this arena with so little preparation, especially at a venue as daunting as Suzuka? And perhaps most intriguingly, what does this mean for Red Bull's second seat in 2025? Lawson's performance here could trigger a ripple effect across the entire driver market. If he overperforms, someone's future is in jeopardy. If he falters, questions will resurface about how Red Bull handles its young talent pipeline. Either way, this isn't just a debut. It's a pressure cooker moment, one that could redefine how the second RB21 seat is evaluated moving forward. So here we are. On the eve of one of the most anticipated Grand Prix weekends of the year, the storylines are converging in spectacular fashion. McLaren is on the rise but still learning how to manage expectation. Ferrari is building quiet momentum. Mercedes is clawing back with a sense of purpose. Red Bull is juggling brilliance and internal friction. And the weather? It could bring all those threads crashing together into one wild, unforgettable showdown. The only thing left to ask is, who will come out on top when the dust, or the rain, settles in Suzuka? Leave us your thoughts in the comments, and once you've done that, don't forget to check out the video that's just popped up on your screen. You won't want to miss it.